sounds nice. The sounds that are coming out of my mouth into this microphone and then back through the computer, then back out of these headphones into my ears. Sounds nice.
Morton.
Oh, Morton.
Mort had those terrible hemorrhoids.
Oh, Mort, I got these terrible hemorrhoids.
They were like stinky little sock balls.
Isn't there always like that voice is like kind of like an iconic voice, I feel like. Because didn't like the neighbor on Rocko's Modern Life had like that same voice, and then the Jerky Boys did like that voice.
They like stereotype Jewish people kind of like they do to Chinese people.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Or like a black guy doing a white voice, or like a white dude doing a black voice.
I think they should make a movie like that and just, make the opposite races play each other. That would be terrible.
Have you ever seen
Tropic Thunder?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like, if you were going to make Iron Man black, who would you use? And it was like Tony Stark. Or no, it was like Robert Downey Jr., which is so perfect.
Oh, that's hilarious. God. Oh, boy. Bernie Dyke Podcast, episode 25.
25.
We're special like that. We get stuff done.
Ooh, quarter. We're a quarter of 100 episodes.
Yeah. Wonderful for us, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got my nice Zach Morris Saved by the Bell shirt on. Ooh. I'm looking pretty nice, like I might steal your chick right out of the hallway.
Ooh, check me out. I got the old Deadpool on the unicorn shirt on.
How did Saved by the Bell literally like roll into real life for those guys? How do you got like Zach Morris, who is now like this crime fighting detective on TV, and he's good all around American guy, and you got AC Slater, who has turned into all those talk shows.
Still wears like muscle shirts and is just like all yoked up on talk shows, and
the Mexican American hero, or whatever. Is he Cuban? What is AC Slater? I don't know what he is, but whoever he is, they champion him. And then you got Screech.
The old give him the D, Dustin Diamond.
What happened there? I mean, he literally just kept rolling with the show. Like, he was going to just let life punk him the whole way. He's like shooting pornos and fighting people and just being all around train wreck. Poor Screech, man. I mean, that's no good for him.
I think everyone kind of liked Screech too, but then, I don't know. I guess a lot of people liked him a lot more than that. They wanted to see him pull his dick out on camera.
I mean, money will make you do weird shit. Same thing with cocaine. What did Rick James say?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, so we're here tonight after another week of me getting my ass whooped in fantasy football. And I'm scoring points, man. I'm doing pretty well, but it just seems like the trend is if you're going to play Keegan, you're going to score out your ass that week.
Nice.
You're just gonna go nuts.
They're just lighting up the board. So I actually won all 3 of my games. I just found out.
He's lying.
Danny Trevathan, right at the end of that Chicago game, I was so the score was 182-185 point something in my league, and if the Redskins scored a touchdown or got a field goal or anything like that, I think it would have put them over like that 17-point threshold because they had 15 points, and it would have gave them. Or would have knocked a couple points off my defense and probably would have lost. But Danny Trevathan met Case Keenum right over top of the pile and knocked that ball out for a fumble when they recovered it. So,
wait, whose defense? You had the Bears?
Bears defense.
Oh man, they lit it up tonight.
Yeah, and I needed 23 points to catch up. I was down 183 to like 169 or something like that at point something. Going into this game, and I was like, there's no fucking way the Bears defense can be 23 points. But 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, like 3 or 4 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries.
I feel like this year for fantasy, and not that I really know from previous years, but I'm seeing it just from watching football, is a lot more stars are getting hurt early. Like a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it has to kind of do with that, like the bigger, faster, stronger. You know how like how do we keep breaking records? There's always new records being broken. Like,
yeah, but
maybe
I mean,
not every year.
It's a remarkable. I mean, Saquon's out now. You got every night. It seems like somebody else. Yeah, all the quarterbacks. You got Hunt out. You got dude. There's so many people out that I just think that in fantasy, my point is that you could be scooping some people up that are no name right now and really scoring some points. And I'm sure that happens every year, but it's happening really fast this year. It's happening early. So,
well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that took Adrian Peterson and then what's his face Thompson's getting like all the carries, or not all the carries, but he's getting a lot of the workload right now. They've been putting him in as a third down back and converting.
I finally dropped Baker Mayfield today.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm done with him.
I'd pick up Gardner Minshew before I take Baker Mayfield.
Dude, he's the real. I feel like he's the real. He's more Baker Mayfield than Baker Mayfield.
Dude, he literally is like a.
That is who I thought it was, by the way. Like last week when we were talking about it, I can't remember what the hell his dad wanted. His dad wanted to name him. His dad wanted to name him like fucking Beowulf or something.
But he named him Gardner,
which is totally cool. I mean,
like I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. What was that saying?
Yeah, man. They asked me one time in a sales thing if I was a hunter or a gardener, and I smiled and I said, "I'm a farmer with a shotgun, my friend."
Oh, that's nice.
Don't play around.
That's smooth.
Don't play around.
You always got them witty comments.
You know?
Smooth shit over.
You gotta be ready to pick off the fucking varmints, but at the same time you gotta be ready to lay a buck down and cook you some nice venison jerky. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of cooking some good stuff.
Ooh.
Spent a little time this weekend. Shout out to Tracy Thornburg, and he probably won't listen to this, but if anybody does that knows him, shout out to Tracy. Because he had
Thornburg Enterprises.
Yeah, Thornburg Enterprises. He is a rep in my industry of work that is a very gracious guy. He's one of the coolest reps in the sense that he has this humongous trailer that has a couple grills on it, coolers, and all this stuff. And he comes,
smokers.
Yeah, smokers. He brings them out to events and he cooks for people, and it's a lot, man. When you're cooking
cool,
for a bunch of people like that on your own, and he's just always been a really cool guy.
Does he charge them for the food?
No, he pays for all of it.
It's all pro bono. He's just handing out free food.
Sometimes when he does them at the branches and stuff, he gets we donate a little bit in toward it. But most of the time, man, he buys, and he doesn't buy the cheap shit. Most of the time, he gets he's got good burgers from Costco, and he does like skirt steaks and all kinds of different stuff up for the. First time I remember him making us food. I know I'm getting sidetracked. He made us these pizzas with like carne asada on them and pesto. And they were and it was like working really hard. And he brought me in this pizza, and I was like, "What the hell is this thing?" And I ate it, and I was like, "He cooked it on a grill."
Is that like Spain?
I don't know what it was.
Like Italy meets Mexico. It's
but
kind of like Spain.
Holy smokes, man, it was delicious. So shout out to him. He hooked me up with a smoker. He gave me this old offset, not old, but an older style offset smoker that's not one of the Bluetooth fancy ones that y'all be using now. So I had to spend some time outside with the brother-in-law, Randy Hook. We spent about 8 hours outside smoking 4 sets of ribs, and they came out pretty good, man. We finished them up tonight. Dakota and I just crushed down the rest of the baby back ribs, which they were falling off the bone a little bit.
Tasty.
They were good.
Was Randy just hanging out drinking Budweiser the whole time?
No, I was the one hanging out drinking Budweiser the whole time.
Randy wasn't drinking Budweiser?
He was drinking Budweiser, but
okay.
I just got to say about Randy, the guy's fucking talented at like everything. Like I'm over there like trying to keep the smoke, blue, and I'm trying to keep the fire at the right level. And this dude, he makes it look so easy, and then he goes to a birthday party for an hour, and then it's just constant chaos for me for like an hour and a half of trying to like keep the levels right. He comes back and he's just put a little board in there, everything's perfect. And I'm like, dude, I did all that. It's like when you're a salesman and you worked in the car business around me. The sales guy says everything, shit doesn't work. Manager comes in, says the same thing, and it works. And that same thing happened on the grill. But at the end result was some good food. We watched some football. My Patriots won another week, so we didn't even need old Stinker Brown, old Farter Brown. Antonio Fluffer Brown.
Did we talk about that last time or no?
We did because it was breaking news. Remember that he got dropped,
right.
And they said there was a couple teams that were looking at him, but he's claiming he ain't playing for nobody now.
Team YouTube.
I don't think he had enough time. I mean, he's got enough buzz right now, but here's the problem. When you're done with this, what are you doing? Nobody gives a shit you're in shape.
He's going to be an influencer.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. If you're not, your thing that influences people is that you're the most talented wide receiver in the league.
Do you think that's going on the influencer topic, not as much on Antonio Brown? Do you think that's like a thing that kids are doing nowadays? Like, they want to be an influencer. Like, of course they do, but I'm saying like if for like a career, kids are like, nope, I don't want to be a firefighter. I don't want to be a doctor. I'm actually gonna focus on getting cameras and learning how to be an influencer on fucking Instagram and YouTube.
I
do. And all that shit.
I think there's a lot of that. I think the biggest problem with that is it's got to the point now where it's just about having cool stuff. It's not about actually being able to influence people the right way.
Yeah.
Because the people that are good influencers, it doesn't matter about the product placement that they're given. It's them. Fucking Apple. Steve Jobs, come back to life, god damn it. I know your new iPhones are coming out and you guys are trying to play your little game on me and you're trying to crash my computer. Nice move, sucker.
Nice move.
Spend another $3,000 with me. Here, buy the new iPhone for $1,000. Because your phone, we're going to slow it down. Fuck you guys. Man, you know how frustrating that is?
We're on a roll.
And it's
going to need a new charger too, by the way.
It's like when you're shooting you hit 4 threes in a row and your own coach calls a timeout.
Oh, dude, you had your heat check, and then you're on fire, and then your coach fucking ices you.
And the third one was from a step off the half court line.
Oh,
you hit him with a Damian Lillard,
asshole.
And you're you make that face at him.
That dude's an asshole.
Why? That's why Apple's got a chunk taken out of the Apple and the little logo, because somebody was pissed off and bit the fucking thing. It's really because we're going to That's the Adam and Eve apple. I can't even say it. I'm so frustrated.
That's Adam's apple that Eve bit?
Yeah, she bit that shit. Freaky fucking weirdos.
Talking snake summoned her to,
if you break down
the
talking snake with the initials of Adam and Eve, it breaks out to Steve Jobs.
Ooh. It's not Adam and Steve.
It might have been. That's why, that's why we got what we got now.
That's why he died after creating an empire.
This is ridiculous.
You think that guy, out of all people, would be able to live, pay a lot of money, fucking getting younger kids fucking adrenochrome and blood pumped into them? So
that's why I don't believe that these people are dead.
Dude, you're onto something. They fucking live in Atlantis underwater. We can't find them.
Or maybe Antarctica under the ice.
Oh, behind the ice wall.
Think about it. They freeze stuff, right? And it can be cryogenically frozen and come back to life and be fine, right? Well, what if just being in cold areas, I see a lot of people back where I'm from that, they live pretty friggin' long.
Dude, back when I was a personal trainer, there's this guy who used to train his wife, and she was 50, good looking older lady for sure.
50.
Definitely had, some bolt-ons, some fake tatas. And but the husband was 70 years old and he was a pilot. And I was like, man, you always look so good. He's got nice taut skin. He just looked good, for 7 years old. And he's real active. Didn't miss a beat. I'm like, man, this guy's just on fire all the time. And he told me, he's like, I think it's all the preservatives they put in. They say they put a lot of preservatives in the food in the airplanes. I think that's what it is.
I just saw a post today with difference of ketchup and mac and cheese.
I posted that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but you know what's kind of fucked up?
Think it's true?
I should have posted with that. It is true, but here's the thing: is they don't have in the UK they don't have regulations. So for anyone listening, it was a post that shows the US brand of food and the UK version of it. So it'd be Heinz ketchup, and it just shows a list of ingredients. Fucking Red 7 and corn syrup and palm syrup and all this bullshit in it. But for the UK version, it just says tomatoes, sugar, salt. That's it just had a couple ingredients in it. But the thing they're not telling you, which I should have posted on there, but I was kind of waiting for people to start popping off on the post, and no one ever really did. So I guess I'm not that popular. But they don't have the same regulations in the UK to where they have to list all of those individual ingredients. So whether it's corn syrup or no matter where that source of sugar comes from, they can just label it as sugar.
Oh,
so
I was gonna say, man, some of those,
But there are certain things that
I thought we led the charge. I thought we led the charge on food.
No, you know what the big problem is it unsaturated fats that are supposed to be, they're illegal in 30 countries.
Yeah, we got to get that together. You know another thing we got to get together that we have a problem with? Is fucking vaccinations.
Dude, vax of fucking nations.
Vaccinate your crotch goblins. I'm not going to tell you this more than once. Like, it's up to you. You want to have an abortion, that's your choice. I don't get involved in any of that shit. But you brought them into this world. They're going to go touch fucking handles and sit on chairs and blow their nose on shit and eat food after another person. Vaccinate your fucking kids. This is ridiculous, man. 100%. We just crept below the 95 percentile mark. We can't even register our country as a measles-free country anymore.
Fucking insane.
Because
people don't vaccinate their fucking kids.
Yeah, it used to be above 95% in the country, right? So now it's 94.3 on average in the country. That doesn't seem like much, but that's a big drop.
That's on average with
one of them leading the charge in the low numbers, New Hampshire.
Bunch of fucking
Let me say this
fans.
to you guys back there. What the fuck are you doing? Vaccinate your kids. Vaccinate them. Dude, don't be giving everybody else the shit because you read something or you're listening to some fucking celebrity online that claim that don't... Jim Carrey, that's the other thing. Motherfucker becomes spiritual and all of a sudden you listen to him. You can paint some shit and all of a sudden say a couple clever things and now you're going to not vaccinate your kids. Don't forget that was the guy in Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura. And you're listening to Kevin Gates and fucking a couple other celebrities.
Are all those guys saying to not vaccinate your kids?
Yeah. The fuck, there's a list of celebrities that endorse not vaccinating your kids.
That's so fucking stupid.
Look, dude.
I saw a great post that was like, it was like, if you vaccinate your children right when you get home, you can cut a potato and put it on the vaccination on the entry hole, and it'll pull out all the bad stuff, the autism causing stuff in the vaccine, and you'll still get all the good stuff. It's a way to beat big pharma and still vaccinate your kids. And then someone, like, the post underneath it is like, you know what? That's so fucking dumb, but I'll allow it. If this is what we have to say for people to start vaccinating their children,
yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, get them potatoes, people. Fucking put the potatoes on the shot. Look, I'm sure in weird cases that it maybe causes autism, but here's the other thing. The fucking turkey sandwich or something else that you had during your pregnancy that I know you probably did. You did something during your pregnancy that wasn't perfect. And if you didn't, trust me, your kid's fine. You're going to be fine. Vaccinate your fucking kids.
I mean, there's a chance that anything could happen to anyone.
Scary.
A very small chance.
I know it's scary when you watch one of those YouTube videos and they sound convincing or a celebrity endorses it, which probably...
And they tell you about the flat earth and tell you not to vaccinate your kids.
And you probably could get away from it, but here's the deal. They're not going to tell you in 5 years when they had to spend fucking $800,000 after insurance to get their kid healthy, or $1 million because they didn't vaccinate the fucking thing. Because they're not going to tell you that.
If they had waited 8 or 9 years, that kid wouldn't be alive anyway.
Yeah, just wait 10 years and your fucking kid will be gone. Just do it, man. Like, look, we're all still here. If anybody was going to be fucked up from being vaccinated, and excuse my language because I'm dropping all the F-bombs now. We're halfway in. But... I probably wouldn't be in here doing the things that I was doing. I know I got vaccinated, so they might have hit me with 2 shots.
Like in the ages of 30 to 40 were like some of the wildest. I mean, obviously going way back, shit was real crazy. But ages 30 to 40, like kids who grew up through like the 80s and 90s, like we did some crazy shit.
Hey, listen, trust our government. Trust them, folks. Trust them. Yeah, trust them. They're here for you.
They're just out here trying to get you to not vaccinate your children so that they can turn gay, go out there and fight wars, transgender wars against other countries.
Ask the frogs. Frogs are gay. Goddamn gay frogs. What happens if you get like a gay Sonoran toad frog and then you get the DMT from the gay frog? Is your trip like extra rainbowy?
Ooh.
Do you get like extra colors?
Extra visual? Extra color visuals.
You come out a little extra happy.
I bet.
I'm honestly, man, I got to look into one of those things because I'm trying to go to one of those, like, I want to go do an experience.
Go, like, do ayahuasca and fucking...
Yeah, I would rather do DMT, but, well, you can do shit like that in the States.
Yeah, I mean, just dark web, bro.
No. There's legitimate places you can go and do it.
Oh,
legitimate.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about illegal drugs. I'm like, yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk about that on the podcast. That's a different experience, bud.
That's way different.
That's not for the Bernie Dyke experience.
We're trying to catch some. We're out here trying to catch gay Sonoran frogs and get the dimethyltryptamine out of their out of their pores they secrete, so we can have one of these gay happy rainbow trips, and it'll be fucking awesome.
You don't even know, man. After anything could happen. We had a tornado here today.
Oh man. So okay, I didn't
Tornado watch 2019.
So I don't know anything about it really. I was at work and my ex called me and she's like, "Hey, you remember so and so? It's her mom's neighbor. That the husband's a cop. Like
It's so and so Smith. In case you were wanting to look her up
it's
on.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah,
and
so and so Smith.
He's a police officer in like Phoenix or
they're both named
Cave
So.
Creek or something.
They're Asian.
And she's like, he said there was the first tornado warning ever." In Arizona, and it's supposed to be starting up near Cave Creek. And I was like, well, to be honest, Phoenix is just surrounded by mountains, and we got so many buildings and shit. I don't think that tornado is gonna get busted up and chopped up before it even makes it in here. But that would have been really fucking cool.
I saw it. There's a few up in New River, like a couple videos that got posted.
Just like a big dust devil.
No. It formed and it came like around a mountain, and it hits like down into a little like town area, and it ripped tiles, or it ripped something off a few different roofs,
like some roof tiles and shit.
And it like launched them in the air, and they didn't drop quick. And we have tile out here, so
I mean, people got shingles too.
Yeah, but it could have been shingles. It held up in the air for a while, so
they were
it could
kind
have
of
been
floating.
But it was pretty cool to see like come through. But you're absolutely right. There's so much stuff to break it up.
Just the fact that we had a tornado warning in Arizona is pretty cool.
Oh man, I was at a branch and they told me to go home. One of the branches was like, "Oh,
I wonder how."
Me and another BDR
what it was
sitting
from
there.
was from how rapidly the temperature changed.
Yeah,
because I noticed I was outside like when it started raining, and within about 10 minutes, I mean the temperature had dropped a significant amount.
Well, the thunder must still be going because my dogs are barking out there, and I
Yeah.
guarantee that's what it's at.
Yep, it's Buckley.
Yeah, they don't.
Little
Yeah.
bastard.
Dude, it was funny. We were outside today enjoying the rain, standing in the lawn and just kind of hanging out on the hammock and stuff. And I looked up.
That's what we do. That's what we do in Phoenix when it rains. We go sit in the hammock.
Yeah, it was nice. And I look up. I have one of those little half moon windows or whatever, the half wagon wheel or whatever. And I'm like, it looks like there's a screen on it. And it looks like grease or something on it. And I'm like, well, that's pretty high up to have grease on it. Yeah, and I'm looking, and then I look, and it like kind of pops out like to the next window. It has like a little 3D outdent, and there's eggshells sitting on the top of it.
Oh, some poor little chickadee never made it into life because her eggshell
No,
broke.
I got egged, fuckface.
Oh, I thought you meant
the kids egged me.
Oh,
I'm across the park.
I was thinking there was a nest up there. And
no, I'm across the park. I was laughing my ass off because I was like, that's a full egg, and that hit the window with force.
That makes sense now.
I was laughing. I was like, these kids are throwing eggs. Chris was like, we got egged, and I couldn't stop laughing. These kids, man, they be trying to get me out here, but like they used to try to ding dong ditch me. So I went out with a screwdriver and I poked the the bell part of the door, the whatever. I stuck it all the way into the wall so you can't even ring my doorbell.
Instead of just removing the fucking doorbell,
I broke
jammed it inside of the
wall.
Yeah,
I shreked it. And so like one day, I found the dog that was lost in the neighborhood and I had a sign, and one of the neighborhood kids wanted to see it, but I didn't know this. I just heard my doorbell ringing, and I was like, how in the hell is my doorbell ringing? That's not even possible. And I go out, and there's this little girl with a stick inside of that thing, just like fucking jamming it in there. And I like screamed at her. I was like, you're going to get electrocuted. And she like looked at me all crazy. And then I shipped her on the way. But
which means she was sitting out front of your house for like 5 minutes. She was there trying to press it, trying to fit her pinky in there, looking for something to grab,
she
a bobby
found a
pin,
stick.
and then she went and found a stick in the front yard.
Bro, that little girl was crazy, though, because her and this other girl, this is a crazy story. I was driving down the road one day, and this pigeon flew out in front of me. And, the pigeons are always all over the place, which, by the way, if you didn't know, those are just government surveillance drones. You ever seen a baby pigeon?
Yeah, they're trying to surveil us with their
You've never seen a baby pigeon. Just think about that. Ooh. But anyway, pigeon flies out, and I thought it was going to get out of the way, and it didn't. And I ran it over a little bit, ripped its wing off, and so the thing dies. And a couple days later, I come home. I'm driving down the road, and that girl and another girl are in the street, hovered over that pigeon, and they're banging that thing with a hammer.
The fucking hammer.
With a hammer. And I like had to pull up on them, and I'm like, hey, no, put the hammer down. No. And both the girls just looked at me like
you're yelling at a dog.
They didn't know what to do, and I was like, "Put the hammer down." You guys know what kind of diseases are in that thing? And they just looked at me. I was like, "Go inside and wash your hands before the fingers start falling off." and they like ran inside and
You
like
get bird flu.
I was like, Jesus Christ, who's watching these kids? They're just out in the street.
Man.
Like I could see little boys doing that shit, but 2 little girls out there banging a dead
how
bird
old
with
are
a
these
hammer.
girls?
Like probably like 10.
Okay. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense that they're like playing out in the street, like on their block.
Oh yeah, they were safe, but still.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
not that safe because had I not been like the neighbor that was like, well, they could have got snatched into a van.
That's true too.
That little ice cream van that rides around my neighborhood that I thought was nostalgic. No, they were little skinny
they can get snatched up real quick.
They were little skinny, like they were like normal little skinny girls that'd probably get put on the Mexican trade market real quick. I don't know. I didn't mean to say Mexican. That's probably
the black market.
The black. Well, that's not even right either. What market are we putting these kids on? I don't even know anymore.
The illegal underground market.
Yeah, the underage kid market.
Illegal underground market.
Man, that is some scary shit. When we took Layla to that little park, she'd just like bend a corner and I'd be like freaking out. Like, dude, I accidentally watched one of those videos where people snatching kids.
I get such a bad anxiety. It's gotten a little better now. So like when the girls were little, I would like around the pool or something, they couldn't leave my sight for like 40 seconds. I would like, okay, like I'm going to flip the burgers real quick. I'd like turn around and be like, boom, 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 flip the burgers, grab my beer, turn back around, be like, all right, I can see him. Cool. Someone start talking to me and I'd be like, yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, no, we're good. And then like, I couldn't let them out of my sight for very long. Now they can swim. I'll let them out of my sight for like 5 minutes, you know, but I'm still always checking every 5 minutes.
But it's so crazy because like, they move so quick, and they're older.
Oh yeah,
like they're 2.5 years older than Layla.
I get terrible anxiety too. Like we go to like those kids places. There's this one, it's like out in Mesa somewhere, and it's got like all these tubes and nets and like ladders and fucking bridges and everything, and they're like up in the air, like they're up by the ceiling, so they're like 15, 20 feet in the air, and there's like kids running around everywhere, and I'm like, all right, I haven't seen my kid for like a couple minutes now. Like looking around, like, all right, where are the girls at? Then I start climbing through the stuff.
Crazy.
I start climbing through stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting to I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. I can't find my kid, and then finally they pop up, and I'm like, oh, okay,
heart attack.
I can relax for about 90 seconds until I don't see him again. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary. It's a lot.
I'm glad we have an open carry state because sometimes when I'm like walking through the parking lot of the grocery store and I got the girls with me, I'm like looking at like some, you know, unassuming person, and I'm like, that person right now could just lose their shit and go postal in this place and try to kill everybody.
I have that problem in movie theaters, and like for the first years after that,
Batman shooting.
Yeah, that. So like we were at a theater one night, and
you have to sit in the back.
I had. Well, I'm not too bad about it, but I typically carry, so I'm not. You're worried, but it's like, unless I'm the first one, unless you shoot me first, I got a pretty good fucking chance. I'm dropping down, I'm pulling my lady with me, and I got myself, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But we leave this movie one night, and I don't even remember what the movie was, but it was super late, and we walk out. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we go around the back, and we're off like, what's that, like 35th Ave, 27th Ave?
Deer Valley?
Yeah. Or 101, whatever.
Yeah. 101 and I-17.
So we come out of the back of this, like AMC or whatever, and we walk around the corner, and I didn't know there was
you
a
guys
rocky.
Were in that parking lot, like over on the side.
Yeah. Yep. So we dipped out the back of the theater because we were gonna go, around. Yep. Which I just don't recommend that. Just go through the fucking front and go back to your car.
It seems a little eerie when you go out those like side exits of the movie theaters.
Well, I used to work in a movie theater, so like. That's where I used to go outside and smoke and come back in and like that. Yeah. The back doors were always how you get in and out of each room and do shit like that. But we go around the corner. I didn't know there was a Rocky horror picture film going on at like 2 or 1, a special event. So I walk around the corner, dude, and there's like a bunch of fucking, I don't know how else to say it, but freak shows.
Right.
Some standing
people
there.
People who in the late 2000s are going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do they call that when it's like an exclusive, like
it's the freak show,
the playback feature or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
When they like play back an old movie, like they do like a classic movie. But yeah, like Rocky Horror Picture Show is like cult classic. Yeah,
so these dudes dressed up like fucking like crazy shit, dude. I walk around the corner and like damn near draw on somebody because I thought it was a group of like looking like I didn't actually almost draw on somebody, but like it startled me enough. that I was
to where you were prepared to.
Like, holy shit. And then after that, we really, for the most part, I don't really have no issues. Now I barely carry when I go to the movie theater, but I'd hate to be the person knowing I got like 3 or 4 straps at the house and could have had one on me discreetly and legal and didn't. So that's kind of a hard thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's better to be able to, you know, because there's still like tons and tons and tons of people who don't carry guns, even though you legally can. And I don't always carry either. I mean, it's on occasion.
Well, it's hard for me because they don't want me to carry in my work truck, so I just don't.
Yeah, true.
But you know what's another funny thing? We talk about all these like posts that get put up and what they mean and things like that. And one of them that caught my attention this week was the post that Colt is no longer going to manufacture AR-15s. Now, when you first read that headline, it makes it look like a stand and how we're going to stop your AR-15s and we're not going to make AR-15s anymore.
All they're going to do is rename. They're going to use a different frame for that.
Well, maybe that's what they have. Maybe they have something new coming out. Yeah. But they also have some of the lowest AR-15 sales. Their gun's really not that great. That gun is not the greatest gun, so I could see them...
It's a Colt, so it's probably priced fairly high.
Right. I could see them discontinuing it, but that's not what struck me. What struck me is that post and how it's worded, and is it a test? Is that a test to see how people are going to act? Because it's not one of those things where it's like, we might do this. Colt said they're going to discontinue that rifle. Now, how they worded it is how they decided to word it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're kind of virtue signaling about it. Like
they want to test it. They're testing the waters on what they're going to get away with.
Well, and I mean, to be fair,
who the fuck is they?
There's just a ton of other guns out there that are semi-automatic rifles.
You take that gun away, they're just going to make some different shit. It doesn't matter.
It's not even responsible for it's just responsible for like some of the least death. I mean, obviously, specific gun designs, it's had a couple deaths to it, but in all reality, most deaths are from handguns.
Here's the deal.
Like I think
if somebody really wants to do something,
only like 3% of deaths, and I don't know, someone who's watching this can look it up and correct me and call me a fuckface like Keegan did earlier. But like I think rifles only account for like 3% of firearm deaths, and that's including, you know, invasions, suicides, police, and then also obviously shootings on other people. But I think it's like 3%, man. And
well, knives are just as bad, man. You start getting into knives.
The majority is all handguns. It's all semi-automatic handguns. Pistols.
You look at places where they took guns away and look at their knife injuries and knives stabbings and shit like that. It's insane. Yeah. They are just out there slaughtering people with those things. So, I mean, it's one of those things. I hope I never have to deal with that where they're going to come try to take my guns away from me. That would be a pretty fucking miserable moment. But it is what it is. All right, what else we got? I know. Oh, Orlando strikes again. I'm actually headed to Orlando this weekend, and you know, I'm gonna be on my best behavior because from what I'm reading in the newspaper, whatever that means, I don't even fucking know. I haven't touched the newspaper since to crumple it up for my fire. But what I'm reading in the newspaper is that an Orlando police officer arrested not one, but two. Well, it wasn't 6-year-olds, but it was a 6 and an 8-year-old. Second graders. But it was a 6 and an 8-year-old. It was an 8-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. And the 6-year-old girl threw a temper tantrum, kicked somebody at a charter school. And the police officer on grounds decided he was going to arrest the student. And this was not the first student he had arrested that day. He arrested a boy earlier.
So have we heard like what his stance on this is? Because my thoughts, if this dude's not a fucking psychopath, my thoughts are like he was trying to like scared straight.
No.
You know, like just scare the shit out of these
No,
little kids.
They informed him at the fucking police station that he did not have the ability nor the right to do what he did and had to turn around and take the fucking kids back. They just fired him from the fucking...
That's fucking insane.
They just fired him. Not like relieved him like with pay until they could figure out the story. They were like, bro, you are such an idiot that we can't even dumb this down.
That's wild.
Get the fuck out of here. You can't arrest 6 and 8-year-olds. Like, yeah, my little niece thought I was a police officer before she moved out here, and we used to make the joke that if you're not good, Uncle Key's going to come arrest you. But at no point are we going to go have my buddy that's a police officer put my freaking niece in the car and go. He tried to fingerprint her.
That's insane.
Bro, he took her down to like, and I know he's going to probably try to get a lawyer and play like, oh, it was all part of the process to scare her straight. But here's the deal. Didn't talk to the grandmother, didn't talk to the family first. Like, you got to talk to the family first. You
absolutely have to talk to the parents and guardians. The fuck
you
is
can't
wrong with
just
you?
take some fucking kid.
Don't even touch a child, period.
That's what I'm saying.
Touch a child
like,
you talk to the parents.
You find out, like, Sawyer kicked some kid in school.
Yeah, I'm going to find out from, like, the teacher. Or the
No.
call me.
She kicked a kid in school and was being a little shit. And the police officer arrested her with handcuffs.
Oh, guess what? Daddy getting paid.
Two daddies are getting paid that week. The 8-year-old boy, too. He fucking handcuffed that kid, too. Man, Orlando. Come on, bub. Let's get it together there, Florida.
Man. Florida man.
Let's get it together, Florida.
Kind of like a Florida man type story. It was a Swiss man, actually. It was at the Disneyland Paris location visiting. He was a Swiss guy. And his girlfriend had given him some LSD, and he was tripping, and he fell into the Adventureland lake and didn't resurface. And she went and informed authorities, and they put together a 130-person rescues or like a search and rescue crew.
What does that cost?
With 30 firefighters and like 10 divers, like a
it's
helicopter.
Like the most expensive LSD trip ever.
A helicopter with an infrared camera and shit. Oh. And then they ended up finding the guy a couple hours later, naked and confused.
That's crazy.
That's an awesome story.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get why you would want to trip on LSD and go to Disneyland. I mean, maybe they've been to Disneyland multiple times. I definitely wouldn't want to do it if it was my first time. Like, hey, let's check out all the rides. Let's go do all the fun. Let's eat the food and drink the drinks and do everything. But maybe if you've been there a bunch of times, you're like, let's take hallucinogenic drugs.
Well, they say Disneyland is just it's not for kids. It's for 30-year-olds on mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Alice in Wonderland, bro.
I've never been, so
you know. You've never been to Disneyland at all?
Not as an adult. I think I went to Disney World as a kid. And I don't
over
remember
in Orlando?
It. Yeah, I don't remember it though.
Yeah. I've been to Disney World once when I was a kid. I think I was like 8. I don't remember a whole lot.
That's some crazy, creepy shit, dude. Like, you don't even know what that dude was into. You don't know what his deal was.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that kind of sounds
there's
like
there's so much deep, dark.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Way far, and
it kind. I mean,
but like, there's too much money to be made. There's no way it would ever like.
You know what?
Manifest.
We need to see if this video is real because I saw a video of like the old black and white Mickey Mouse where he like whistles and snaps his fingers and like on the little boat and stuff.
Yeah, the little racist bastard.
Yeah, so there was a video where they're like making Swiss cheese like on like a factory line, like on a what it was called, like a conveyor belt. And as it was going by, like one of them would like take the circle and like chop it, like whistling and singing, like chop it into triangles, and it'd go to the next guy, and he had a boner and was like stuffing the holes like into the Swiss cheese and pass it down to the next guy who was like packaging it. And I don't know if that's real, but it looked real as fuck.
I always kind of questioned if that's how Rainbow Donuts out here was putting the holes in the donuts.
Putting the holes in the donuts?
I was just curious because like Rainbow Donuts everywhere.
Oh, dude. Bosa, I think it's Bosa Donuts. Maybe it's Rainbow. They got these fucking croissants that are like they're like a child's football. They're like this big.
Yeah, Bosa can come through with a good shit.
Oh, dude, and you can get them with jalapenos and ham and cheese in them. Oh, dude.
If you want to see a bear claw, like legit bear claw, shaped as a bear claw, like as big as a bear. No, it's over here, right at the end of the road. It's called Daily Donut.
Daily Donut.
And it's this little like Malaysian chick owns it.
It's funny that you say the name Daily Donut because literally today I was walking through Fry's through the grocery store. And I saw, you know how they have like the packaged donuts that like they're like got all the preservatives and you can just buy them, but they're not the ones that are fresh made like in the bakery. And I was thinking to myself like donuts are one of those products that like I don't know how many products are out there that you just like literally buy them and eat them all that day. Because if you buy a dozen of donuts, you're usually like bringing them to like work or to somewhere gathering.
Yeah.
Because do you ever just buy a dozen of donuts for like you and Crystal?
I don't really eat them. Yeah.
Yeah, because you wouldn't buy a dozen fucking donuts though and bring them home and be like,
unless
all right, now.
People. Or I fucking pissed the neighbors off. We did that once.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I accused all the neighbors of stealing. This is the first year we were here.
It was in this house?
Yeah, it was New Year's. We had a little bit too much of the sauce. And we brought the neighbors over, and at some point, Crystal was showing her ring off, and then she didn't put it back on her finger, and she set it down somewhere. And then she started saying that the neighbors stole it to me. And, you got to do what you got to do, man. Like, my wife told me, the ring's gone, so I got to go over and I got to handle it. I looked. I didn't see it. So I went over and I tried to run the pockets of all my new neighbors.
Did you like go up and ask like, hey, her ring went missing. I'm just wondering if somebody's got it.
It wasn't that nice. It was more of a like,
you were pretty drunk and fired up.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. And anytime you start with, I'm not trying to be an asshole.
You're usually trying to be an asshole.
Yeah, you're about to be an asshole. And I was like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like everybody's got to empty their motherfucking pockets right now. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but Crystal can't find a ring and blah, 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 blah. And it escalated a little bit. Everybody was being pretty calm except one dude, which wasn't ever in my house. So that was more just an escalation that I was, between me and him.
Did you guys ever find the ring?
Oh, Stumbelina came falling across the street about 2 minutes later with a ring after I'd already accused everybody and took it to way higher levels than it ever needed to be. And so the next morning I felt so ashamed. I went to Dunkin' Donuts and I bought everybody the Munchkins and boxes of Joe and knocked on their doors and gave everybody. I was so embarrassed, and they all were like, welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah, they were so proud to have me. But yeah,
I got a really similar story too.
Oh,
we were Super Bowl party. We always have like the boards going, and like everyone you get like the squares. You buy like the $1, the $2, $5 squares. So all the money is like in envelopes, all stashed in like a bigger manila envelope. And that envelope, the money went missing out of it. And there was a kid I went to high school with, one of my buddies actually, who was there, but he had gone to prison for a little bit and been back, and he's not like doesn't really fit in with this crowd of people necessarily. He's got like a couple face tattoos and like just looks a little more.
He's ready to drop an album. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, and he's like kind of hanging out in the house and like back in our buddy's bedroom, like kind of back and forth and not really like socializing with everybody, and that money goes missing, and I'm pretty sauced up too, and I'm like, everyone's like, well, someone needs to ask like this person, and someone needs to ask that guy. Like, no, has anybody asked that guy? Like, everyone's afraid to ask that guy. I was like, well, I know him, I'll go ask him. So I walked up, I was like, hey, Demir. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said his name. I was like you can bleep it out.
Yeah, I can bleep that shit out. I'm tagging him.
And I was like, hey, the money went missing. They want me to ask you. I don't think you did it, but I got to ask you. And he's like, fuck no, dude, blah, blah. But, like, got real defensive, And you're like, all right, you're getting real defensive. Why are you getting so defensive? Probably because I'm asking him and he didn't fucking do it.
And you're getting all up in his shit.
And I'm sauced up, so I'm like, no, man, fucking, you know what? Empty your fucking pockets, and you too. And so I made, like, these 2 or 3 dudes empty their pockets, and I was like, all right, no one's got it. And then the kids whose house it was at, the son was like, oh no, like I wouldn't put it up on like my computer desk up on the top so no one would like take them out of there. So it ended up being kind of the same thing. And I was like, all right, sorry guys.
Yeah, I was at a pretty crazy party once on a New Year's night it was another New Year's night. I have a problem with New Year's. Yeah. And
we should hang out this New Year's.
Something expensive got stolen from some dudes. We're not going to get into the whole thing. But we looked through the whole house and couldn't find it. And next thing you know, they start lacing my buddies. Ooh. Like lacing them. Broke one of my friend's nose, clocked my other friend. I scrapped with a couple dudes for a minute. Everything ends up, they leave, whatever. Find out later down the road, 2 of my friends stole their shit. Mm. And they didn't fight when the fight broke out.
Oh, yeah.
They stood off to the side. And so, like, that became an issue because it was like, bro, old boy's nose got broke. Like, he got popped in the face. I had to deal with 2 dudes. And you stood to the right and watched the whole fight go down. That was that's one of them steps when you start to learn, like, not everybody's with you.
Oh, yeah. I've seen...
Even when they did it.
I've seen, like, fights break out and people who are, like, running their mouth and talking that are, like, kind of just fade off into the corner, into the bathroom, or, like, the other part of the house. You see them backing down the hallway.
Bro, the biggest fight I ever been in, we got jumped by about 8 people in a college town on the street. And we didn't do anything. Like, we were just asking if they'd seen my brother and this other kid, and they cussed us out and told us, it's right here, said all this stuff. And
you talking about D? D's nuts?
Pretty much. It was worse than that. But so we walked off. We were like, me and this other dude were like, whatever. And the dude behind me, same dude too from the other issue, and he started it with them. They all cleared that porch, and they fought with me and the other dude. Pushed the other guy on the ground that started it, and when the fight was done, which the dude that I was with was an animal, and just savagely beat a bunch of these kids up really bad. And when he put one into convulsions and they scooped him up and ran him in the house, we turned around and saw our buddy standing cross arms chatting with two of their friends.
The one who started it?
Mm-hmm.
Asshole.
Yeah, acted like he didn't know. Well, he didn't know what was going on. He was oblivious.
You know what that guy is? He's a fuckface.
He was a fuckface. He probably egged my house.
Oh, that fuckface.
Well, we got anything pressing? We're creeping the 50-minute mark. I want to make a short one this week. What do you got for me?
I don't know. Should we do some? Should we run through some quick? Oh, that's not the one I was trying to use.
One of the
some quick current events.
One of the favorite things too. We got to do one of the favorite things. What's your favorite?
Oh yeah. We'll fuck the current events.
What's your favorite?
There was that cool guy though.
Corn on the grill or corn on the cob? Or corn on the grill or like corn in the house? Does it matter to you?
Those are both the same fucking thing.
No, dude, corn on the grill is totally different.
Or do you like a little bit of blackened on your corn on the cob?
No, I don't like it when it's boiled.
Dude, everything's better on the grill. We know that.
All right, then that one
sucks. That's not a good what's your favorite. What's your favorite? All right, I got a good one. And these are shout out to my buddy Andrew DiVincenzo.
I suck at what's your favorite.
He answers the phone all the time like we did last week. I'll call him and he'll be like, "What's your favorite animal and why?" So what is your favorite structure and why? Like a building type structure. Is there a certain design, shape, or something that's your favorite and the reason why?
The Giza pyramid.
Oh, dude.
Or that or the Sphinx, one or the other.
Well, I mean, you could go something specific, but I just meant so mine is pyramid. Pyramid just because of the strength, because how they go from such big bases to small top. And
the mystery to me, like why?
Yeah, so a famous historic structure in that case. Yeah. The pyramid's a real good one. Fucking the Easter Island heads.
What about onion rings or French fries?
Ooh, I gotta go French fries on that one, man. I gotta stick up for the potato. You know what I'm saying? Got the old Irish over here.
Well, I think we're gonna call it Bernie Dyke Podcast, Keegs Kota, episode 25. We've hit the half-century mark.
Quarter century
mark. I don't know centuries. I feel like it's been a half-century since we started this fucking thing.
What's your favorite, talking or math?
This is what happens when you shoot one at like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I don't even know what time it is. It's like 10. It's early. I'm an old man. Leave me alone. Let me grow my hair back in peace.
All right.
It'll never happen. All right. Thanks to all the Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, all you people. Share some shit. Tell your friends. We're out here doing our thing. Later.